my family treats me like a doormat. Now they are planning a cruise without me and assuming I'd stay behind to babysit their kids. I always knew my family had its quirks, but I never imagined it would get to this point. You know the feeling of being taken for granted? It's like a slow burn, building up over time until one day you realize you've had enough. That's where I was when I found out they were planning a luxurious Mediterranean cruise without me. It wasn't just the cruise, though. It was the assumption that I'd stay behind and watch their kids, as though I was their personal babysitter. Like I didn't have my own life, my own plans. I'll admit, I wasn't surprised. This had been happening for years, but the cruise, that was the final straw. Let me give you a little background. My name is Sarah, and I'm the oldest of 3 kids in my family. I've always been the responsible one, the one everyone relied on. I didn't mind at first, though. It felt good to be needed. But over the years, I began to notice a pattern. My parents, my siblings, everyone took advantage of my willingness to help. They knew I'd say yes to anything, and because of that, they never bothered to ask if I wanted to do these things. It was as if my role in the family was to be a doormat. I'd go out of my way to support them, cancel plans, and drop everything, always with the unspoken expectation that I would help them with whatever they needed. A ride to work, sure. Watching their kids so they could go out for a night on the town? Absolutely. But where was the reciprocity? Where was the appreciation? It wasn't that they didn't love me, no. I believe they did, in their own way, but they didn't see me as a person with my own needs and desires. I was just Sarah, the one who would always be there. And this cruise? This was the tipping point. It all started with my sister, Kelly, calling me one evening. She was excited, practically shouting through the phone, telling me that the family was planning a 2-week Mediterranean cruise for this summer. She mentioned it casually at first, talking about the ports they'd visit and the fun activities they had in mind. And then, after a pause, she added, "Oh, by the way, we were thinking you could stay behind and take care of the kids." I froze. The kids. They weren't even her kids, they were her 2 toddlers, lively, demanding, and full of energy, but that wasn't the issue. The issue was the assumption. The expectation. That I would be the one stuck at home, waiting, while they all got to enjoy the Mediterranean sun, the excursions, and the luxurious shipboard experiences. You want me to do what I asked, trying to remain calm. Yeah, you know. Babysit. It's no big deal, right? I'm sure the kids will have a blast with you. My heart sank. Was she serious? My own sister, who knew I had been burning the candle at both ends for years, thought I would just stay behind like it was some normal thing. As if I didn't have my own life to live. And let's not forget this wasn't the first time something like this had happened. It had become a habit over the years, them asking for favors, assuming I'd drop everything, and me, foolishly agreeing. But this time, something inside me snapped. I couldn't do it anymore. I was angry, really angry. For once, I wasn't going to let them walk all over me. So I decided to confront them. The family dinner that evening should have been casual. My parents, my brother Matt, my sister Kelly, and me all sat around the table, joking and talking about random things. But beneath the surface, I was simmering. Finally, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I put down my fork, looked around the table, and said, "I need to talk to all of you about something. The cruise. I'm not staying behind to babysit. I'm not your doormat." Everyone stopped, their forks halting in midair. My parents exchanged a nervous glance. Kelly, who had been the most enthusiastic about the trip, looked at me in confusion. "Sarah, what do you mean? It's just for a couple of weeks, and we know the kids love hanging out with you. It'll be fun." "No, it won't," I said, shaking my head. "It won't be fun, and I'm not doing it anymore. You guys have been treating me like I have nothing else going on in my life. Every time you need something, I drop everything. But I have my own life, my own dreams, my own plans. This cruise is just the last straw." My brother Matt, always the peacemaker, tried to diffuse the tension. "Sarah, it's not a big deal. We're just asking for a little help. We're a family." "And I'm part of that family, right?" I shot back. "Or am I just the backup babysitter? You all keep assuming I'll stay behind, but you've never even asked me if I want to be part of your plans." My mom, looking a little uncomfortable, spoke up. "We didn't mean to upset you. It's just that we thought you'd be fine with it. You've always been so accommodating." I could feel the tears welling up, but I wasn't going to cry. Not now. Not when I needed to stand up for myself. "I've always been accommodating because I've been scared to say no. But I'm not doing it anymore," I said, my voice shaking slightly. "I'm not staying behind to watch your kids while you're off on a luxury cruise. I deserve better than that." The silence in the room was deafening. Kelly finally spoke, her voice soft but firm. "I didn't realize you felt like that, Sarah. I'm sorry. I guess I just assumed you'd be okay with it. But I get it now." My dad, usually the silent one, cleared his throat. "We didn't mean to take you for granted, Sarah. We'll figure something out. You don't have to do this if you don't want to." I nodded, my heart still pounding, but at least now I felt heard. I didn't expect an apology, but this was a start. This was my family acknowledging that I had a voice and that I wasn't just there to cater to their every need. The next few days were tense. My sister and I had some tough conversations. She apologized, genuinely this time, and admitted that she had been selfish in assuming I'd always be available. My parents also came around, realizing that they'd unintentionally put too much pressure on me over the years. In the end, they still went on their cruise, but this time I wasn't left behind. Instead of babysitting, I booked a week-long trip to New York City, something I'd been dreaming of for years but never had the time to do. And you know what? It was amazing. I explored the city, saw Broadway shows, and took time for myself for the first time in a long time. I learned something important through all of this. Standing up for yourself is not selfish, it's necessary. You don't have to be anyone's doormat to be loved or appreciated. And sometimes the people closest to you need to be reminded of that. So yeah, my family treated me like a doormat for far too long. But not anymore. And that cruise, I'm glad I didn't stay behind. Because now I know that taking care of myself is the most important thing.